Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today? This is Toby with Birdsong Studios. So I'm here to share a recent understanding I have gained in an experience I've had with my body and some stiffness and tenderness and soreness I've been carrying in my shoulders. I began working with a close friend of mine, Diane, thank you, with massage therapy, and she's helping me she's doing the physical aspect of releasing the tension and the soreness. But what has been really interesting through the process is an understanding, and we've talked about this before, and I know you guys have an awareness of this, but stay with me. The interesting link between the physical sensations, the physical symptoms, those doorways and openings that our body gives us to a deeper understanding of our inner world, of our shadow, of our belief systems. But in particular, the shadow, I found it very interesting to understand through this process that the soreness was very much associated with specific chakras and energy centers in that vicinity. So it's not just a matter of the soreness is in my shoulders because that's where I hold tension, but the soreness is in my shoulders, and then there's corresponding stiffness and tension and tightness in my neck that I wasn't even aware of. But these are the physical structures that surround the energy centers that I have been working with and opening up, intentionally opening up, especially over the last year, the last 6 to 9 months. But yeah, the last year, I've been expressing more, using that throat chakra, intentionally working to open that, allowing myself to move into uncertainty, allowing myself to expand and be vulnerable in different ways in my personal life, in my work life, here with you guys, online, and talking through these messages. So this is a heart space expansion. It's a throat chakra expansion. And it is fascinating to me that as part of that expansion, it's not too terribly surprising, although I admit that it was surprising to me that I didn't consider this beforehand, but this is all a process of learning, and that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. It's interesting to me that in that process, of course, our shadow, and my shadow in this case, it wants to keep me safe, right? So I'm doing all these things that from the shadow's perspective, it's the opposite of safe. It's putting myself out on camera to you guys. It's putting myself out on the internet. It's sharing these very personal messages. It's being in front of the camera, which is not a place of comfort for me. It is speaking my truth in different ways. It is expansion in my personal life in a bunch of different ways. So it takes all of the fullness of that, but in all of those things, those are all things that challenge my shadow. And so in the response to that, the shadow seeks to provide safety for us, right? So these places in my physical structure of stiffness and tightness, they feel like this anchoring in of the old, of what is an anchor to what is comfortable, is what I mean to say. An anchor to what is comfortable. And what is really fascinating to me, and something the whole point of me sharing this here, is that also in the process of massage, I realized that my physical body, the default state is tension. So I have to consciously put my physical body in a state of relaxation. And so I bring that up because until I move into a space in which it is required of me to relax fully, which would be for massage, right? I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that. So the reason I bring that up is for you to consider what is your default physical state? What state does your body naturally inhibit unless or without your conscious interference, so to speak, your conscious intention? What is that default state? And what is, again, to take that a step further is, so if we're in a state of tension, we're in a state of dis-ease, and we're in a state of discomfort, right? So how many of us, our default state is tension, and so what we're comfortable with is actually discomfort? What if how many of us, our baseline is discomfort, and so we're gauging everything else against a state of discomfort? And if you're used to a state of discomfort, then this is the irony. If you're used to a state of discomfort, that becomes your comfort zone. And so when you do things to move towards ease, to move towards comfort, to move towards freedom and flexibility and health, that can trigger your shadow. And so this feels like the important takeaway and the important learning here is that to consider our baseline state and our default state. Otherwise, but because that provides us with a greater perspective of what we are experiencing at the time and what our emotional state may tell us about what we're experiencing. So just because they're telling me to repeat this, to consider that if our baseline state is discomfort, that moving towards comfort will be uncomfortable. I hope that makes sense. So if our baseline state is tension or discomfort, when we take steps to move towards comfort, and whatever comfort means for you, that process will be uncomfortable because you're moving away from your safe space. Okay, that is it for now. I hope that made sense for you guys. I hope that was helpful and that in some way it helps you in understanding what you're experiencing on your journey, whether today or tomorrow or later on in the future. Thank you for being here. Sending you so much love. Namaste.